Hello, this is the fifth and likely final edition of the thorough leveling a new character. So let's get right into it. I've got a lot of stuff to cover to close this out. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. I know these videos have been a little bit longer than what I wanted to, but I'm trying to make sure I get as much information in them as I can to explain my method to doing this. Just to recap, so far we have gotten all three skill lines up to level 12 now, so we can process having the ultimate on the skill line. We're also leveling each skill line with one skill apiece slotted on the bar. That leaves us the ability to level 3 weapon skill lines at the same time. And then that allows us to level a lot of things all at once rather than just having one or two things leveled. If you do this, I'm going to try and do something in the video here to push the progression of this character to level 15, which is the point where you get to bar swap, and I'm going to cover how I handle that because I do a very specific, not really technique, but system there in order to make sure that everything stays leveling at the same time. So what I'm going to talk about here is how you get your crafting writ started first. You want to walk up to a daily crafting writ board, and it will give you a mission to do. Now, I recommend once you pick up this mission that you go to Summerset. And the reason why is because in order to get the jewelry, you have to come here anyway. And so you may as well just do all of your crafting here in Summerset. And how you do this is when you land in Alinor, the quest giver or the objective is right here. You speak to her, and she is going to get you your certification like that. So then you collect the next mission here, and you go to Blacksmithing, and then it tells you to go craft the dagger. So then you just have to run down to the crafting tables. And this guy here is the jewelry. You can kind of do both at the same time. That way you're not running back and forth crazy like that. You just want to craft the ring and then go over to the blacksmithing table, craft the dagger. These are specifically using the smallest amount of resources to use to get you to progress to where you can get your daily crafting writs done. You can turn in the ring, and then he'll tell you to deconstruct it. Go up here to where the other mission person is. Actually, I believe she's down by the tables once you do this. It's nice. She actually moves down towards the tables. Okay, so we've deconstructed.
Most certainly.
Okay,
You are now free. You can research it. You can learn. You can learn.
there, your jewelry certification is done. I think once you do this next step, she will move down for the rest of the missions so that you don't have to run all the way up here every time.
The trick is it's a fancy.
And she tells you to deconstruct just like the jewelry guy did. I did use some crown speed up and benefits to the horse, so it is quite a bit faster than in the previous video. All right, so now we've got to go talk to her again.
Of course. Let me know if I want to. Absolutely. Craft a maple bow. I prefer to craft a maple bow. Every race has a tradition. You can learn the Breton style.
Now we have to craft a bow to get the woodworking certification. This takes a little bit of time, but if you get this done early on, then once you get all this done, then you can just go play your character and you're going to have everything leveling up at a much better rate than if you just were to slam through it in power level in Black Rose Prison or something. Then you're going to get characters that only can do dungeons and trials but not really much else. I don't like to do that. If I spend time creating a character, I like them to do everything, which is why I level this way. If I want to make, for example, a PvP character, I've got all these other weapon skill lines leveling all at the same time. I can create whatever builds I want to, especially now with subclassing. That opens up a much more advantageous situation for your characters because you can do so much now with these characters. Now that we have subclassing, you're not just sort of stuck with whatever. And because it's so powerful now, it doesn't even hardly matter what. I mean, in some cases it will. The race can matter of your character. Like for example, if you pick a Nord and you're a tank, you probably don't need the resistance that racial passive gives you anymore. And so there are little niche things like that. But in terms of, like, for example, the power of a DPS can do, you can literally make a DPS on this character and have another armory slot that just has a healer build on it. So there's a lot of different things you can do skill line wise with these, and it's a really, really good idea to level everything that you can because it makes your characters so much more usable overall. They're not just one little thing here and there. So gonna do this last mission here for this certification. Make the gloves and go back to her. This is the kind of part that really takes a long time, but I feel like showing it in the video is beneficial so that people see how easy this is to do. It is a little time consuming to set all this up, but really once you get all this set up like I've shown, then you're leveling all kinds of things all at once. And when you get to that level 50 into CP, you're going to be having so much more capabilities with what you want to do with your character. If you find a build online and you are just running
It's a fancy.
If you were just running a healer build before and then you didn't work on dual wield and it's a 3, or even not even popped open to where you even have the skill line sitting there. It really sucks to have to stop what you're doing and go level that skill line, and then you can try the build. Whereas if you level like this, you're pretty much going to be able to run whatever you want right away, because most of this stuff is going to be, if it's not all the way, it's really, really close. And the thing is when you're doing when you get to the point where you're leveling stuff, then you really want to make sure that you're watching when you pop things in and out, so that you make sure that you're not having any dead XP just drop on a skill that's already leveled all the way.
Of course. You can eat. You can greatly improve. You'll want to bring any item with the
Okay, so there we have the ability now to do daily crafting writs. Now I'm going to do the provisioning guy here. And I already know how to make the roast pig, apparently. I don't have to pick up the recipe from the backpack that's usually there. So I'm just going to run over to this cooking fire and make 1 roast pig. I went into a guild bank and got a lot of recipes on my character here, so before anybody says, oh, that's a no-no, it's my own guild bank, so it doesn't matter. There's the Enchanting and the Alchemy certification. Okay, so now we are certified on all crafting now. And the reason why this is important is because now you can start getting hirelings and advancing your stuff and getting gold and all that on a whole nother character now. Now you have more than just your crafting or your main or whatnot. Now you can do your crafting writs on this character here. So we go in here and turn on the lazy crafting writ person, and we'll just do a round of crafting writs real quick since that's got some good XP to it. Before we do that, I'm going to pop the scroll here that we have. So now I can get extra XP. I'm not used to this crafting add-on that just does it for you. I'm used to having to press the buttons, press the buttons, press the buttons. When you're around these crafting areas, look at these books here. You can get some XP and sometimes some, anytime you see a bookshelf, you could read it and end up getting a skill line to level up. You never know. But I'm going to try and get enough XP here in this video to pop this guy's, or this character, I should say. I do not know the recipe for roast corn. Okay, so I can't do the roast corn. I'll have to figure that out sometime later down the road. Okay, so now we're going to go turn these in and we'll get some XP for doing this. And I'm going to talk about something that I do with these low-level characters that I won't necessarily show in this video because I don't know how long the queue is going to take to pop, but if you keep your character at this low level like this, just above a 10, but below a 20, somewhere in that range, there's a nice trick you can do to enable you and your friends to basically get your daily randoms done on all your characters very fast. Now, what you do is you get 3 of your other friends that also have a low level character like this, and each one of you will take turns being the one that does not get the XP for that round. You can organize it however you like. Maybe everybody does 1 round each and then rotate through. But basically, what you do is, like, for example, I would get 3 other people that have full level characters, and we would queue for a random dungeon. Now, what that does is, because you're so low, you only have access to a very small amount of dungeons. Now, I can tell you from experience, when you're this low, you're pretty much only going to get Fungal Grotto 1, the Banished Cells 1, and you're going to get uh, I believe the other one is Spindle Clutch 1. And so it's a really, really easy, fast, normal dungeon, especially Fungal Grotto. If you get Fungal Grotto, you can literally almost do that in less than 2 minutes. And so what you do is, once you queue and you go in the dungeon, you log out, you leave group and you log out of this character, then you get on your full powered character and join group and help them finish the dungeon if that's what's needed. And then everybody logs out and the next person gets on their low level character. Now, the reason why you want to alternate to another person is once you queue for a random dungeon, you are then on cooldown for a couple of minutes, and likely will still be on cooldown until the next dungeon is available. It won't work. So that's why I recommend cycling through each person. That way you guys don't have to sit around. But if you do that, every time everybody's going to be able to run through, get your XP, get your stones. It's much faster. It really sucks when you queue for a random and get Lair of Marsalok, or City of Ash 2, something like that. It's really not fun. So that's a recommendation there. So now that we've done the crafting writs, now I'm going to go to my house, and I'm going to show you how to power level the alchemy and the provisioning. But what I need to do first is pull my skill points off in order to do that. And so what I'll do is just load the build here. That gives me all the skill points, but it keeps everything else on here. And so what I need to do, very similar to what I did with the alchemy, we're going to do provisioning leveling. So how you do this is, right now I'm a level 3. So I have to go all the way down here to where provisioning is at the very bottom. And what you want to keep an eye on is these 2 things here. So I essentially need to get to a level 20. This makes your food last longer. That's not really a concern right now. What we want to do is try and get to level 20. And very much like we changed the regents on alchemy, we're going to watch. You see on there, the chicken is a level 1. So what we want to look for is, do we know how to make anything that's higher? So we can't make a 15, but we can make a 5. Is there any? Okay, there's a 10. I can make a 10. So I want to make whatever I can make the most of. It looks like 10 is the number. So we're going to make 10 this level stuff here. So I'm going to make 15 of these. And we're going to let it pop up. Let's do 20. We'll see what that does. Okay, we need to get to level 20, so let's just make 20 more. What the heck? There's plenty of ingredients there, as you can see. Okay, let's make 20 more. Okay. How about 10? We'll see what 10 does. All right, let's do 10 more. Just wanting to get to that 20 level. All right, so now we can put the skill points in. As soon as we reach that threshold, we put the skill points in on both of these, because then this will allow us to access more potent recipes. So now we're going to go in here and look for more potent stuff that we can make. And the level is important because that's what makes the meter move the most. So we want to look for, even in the drinks, if you've got something that is worth more. You want to find a good recipe that's really going to move the needle. So we might just have to stick with that recipe for now until we get a little bit further. But we need to make sure where we need to get to. A 30 is the next recipe that we need to watch for. Well, let's go ahead and push this quite a bit. We'll just make, oh, let's make 45. We'll see what that goes. Okay, we need a little bit more. I'll make 30 this time. Hopefully that'll get us over the hump for level 30. Nope, not quite. 20. We'll see what 20 does here. 5. All right, so now we can back out of this and add that, and that will give us access to level 39 recipes. So now you can so level 15, I can still make it. So I need to make, now how you can tell whether or not you can make this is if you look to the left hand side of the recipe, it's not red. This 20 is misleading, that like you can't make it. So we'll make some of that, level 20. A lot of this stuff down at the bottom is not very potent, so you got to really pay attention to. Well, it looks like it's going to stay in the green food anyway. It's going to make some more 20s because that's going to be the most potent mover. So we'll just go ahead and make 40 of this. Okay, that takes us to 36. We now get to do this, which is the more difficult blue foods. And now that should give us some access to some really good stuff now in the blue categories. Now we just want to make sure you pay attention to the level that's on the actual food that you make. Like this is a level 30. That's really going to move the needle a lot more than a 10 or a 15. So what we're trying to get to now is level 40 pretty much. Okay. So now we're going to put on the last, pretty much the last one. That gives us access to even more potent recipes, which is good, because then we really get to figure out what's a needle mover. Here, let's see if we've got anything there's a level 40 right there. That's going to be the ticket. That's going to really move the needle a lot. So we'll make 35 just to see what happens of that. And as you can see, I'm going to need a little bit more. Let's just make 50. It stacks anyway. And as you can see, there's a ton of this material, so it doesn't matter. Just finish it off. Okay, there we go. Level 50 on provisioning. So now we have power leveled alchemy, enchantment, and provisioning all within this video series. Now the remaining ones, the blacksmithing, clothing, woodworking, and jewelry, the only way you can really power level that fast is by deconstructing things. So as I've said in the previous videos, make sure that you go into your bank and throw stuff in there to deconstruct so that you level your skill lines that way. And just keep doing it. Keep breaking stuff down. Every time you run a random anything, throw it in your bank on your other characters, and then when you get done with for the day, before you log off totally for the day, pop on your new character, grab your rag picker out, or run to a crafting table and deconstruct. Okay, so now that we've done that, now the last thing I'm gonna talk about in this video is I'm gonna talk about master writs. So I'm gonna do enchanting because it's the easiest one to do for two reasons. One, I have it memorized in terms of what glyphs are what. So you're gonna need 14 free points in order to do this. Now, as you can see, I'm a level 13. The level does not matter. What matters is do you have the advancement in the skill line like this? Once you're a level 50, you can do master writs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in my bank here, go down to my master writs, and I'm going to pull out, I believe I already did it actually. I have enchantment master writs right there. So I'm going to accept that. And so now I'm going to go here. And with this add-on, even though I don't know the glyphs, it's making the master writ for me. And as you can see on there, it tells me that I can just go turn that sucker in. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you, again, I've done this in another video, how you can power level skills. You can just go in here with the crafting writ, hit craft the writ, hit your triangle button, go down to craft the writ, and then walk up here to the table, and it will make all of those glyphs for you right now. Okay, and so now what I do is I'll just port to Mournhold to go turn these in. Now, why I bring this up is because if you want to further advance leveling your character at a very high rate, very fast, this is going to be the most XP that you can get in an easy, quick, fast way. So what I'm going to do before I turn these in is I'm going to put all of those skill points back on my character. And what I need to do now, I want to make sure that I'm only slotting what I need to be able to make the shame on you. My wife doesn't have an armory in this. Okay, so that's okay. I'll make it work. Okay, so we're going to put the skill points back on. I only have 5 to deal with, so I'm going to pick 5 useful ones, so to speak. So I'm going to make the... I've already got Fate Carver morphable, so I don't want to use 2 skill points, so I will just use that for now. And we'll make that one. And then we're going to use the ultimate. And then we've got 2 more skill lines to use. We're going to definitely use... Both of these are already morphed, so it doesn't really matter, but we want to get XP on the skill line, so it's not a big deal if we lose out on the skill itself, but we definitely want to get XP on the skill line. And because I'm wearing a Destro staff, so I'm going to get all 3 of my class skill lines, plus I'm going to get the XP for the weapon skill lines that I have equipped. So this is going to be where I end the video. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. I know this was a long, dragged out thing for some people that don't want to watch, but I did include timestamps, so keep that in mind. As you can see there, it leveled quite a bit. Go in here and accept the next mission here. Turn that in, and I just leveled up there to level 14. Okay, then we'll back... Oh, I got a skill point to use there, so I may as well put my... Oh, let's just put the bow on there, just to make sure we've got points on it. And we'll grab the last master writ there. Turned that in and got some more XP. 17,000 XP right there on a level 14 character. So anybody that says it can't be done, yes, it can. You just have to do the leveling of the skill line like I showed, and it works just fine. Once you get your power leveling done on the skill lines there, then you're free to just use Master Writs to power level. It is a massive amount of XP, especially during a double XP event like the Witches Festival. And then I'm running an XP scroll as well that's giving me another 150%. So as you can see, I'm really close to being level 15. Maybe I'll just use this last little bit here to try and go pop to level 15 real quick so I can go over how I set up my bars in the event that I do get to a level 15, because that is kind of an important thing. We'll just run over here to this way shrine and see how much XP I get from it. Usually is quite a bit of XP to get a way shrine to reveal. There we are, level 15. So now I can bar swap. Okay, so I'm going to port to my house to do this so I don't get interrupted. And I will show you the very promise. This is the last little bit I'm going to show you, but I'm going to advise you that you set up your bars this way so you don't get stuck on the wrong bar. Like, for example, if you do a random dungeon and you're trying to get that juiced up maximum XP, set your bars up the way I'm going to show you here. That way you don't run into the problem of you missed out on being on the wrong bar. Okay, so I'm going to reload my build here. So now I can set up my bar. Now, once again, I want to start with my skill lines to make sure that I'm leveling those properly. So what I usually do is I will put my skill on both bars, just like this. Now, I understand this is going to sound weird. The purpose of this is to make sure that you are constantly getting XP on all of this stuff evenly, and that you don't have any drop off on some vital stuff here. So we're going to put this ultimate on both bars here, and now we're going to put skill lines on both bars. Now, what you can do if you don't want to run the same staff on both bars, I don't have a staff set up for this character for the back bar, so I'll have to build that. But as you can see on here, I'm going to run a lightning staff on my front bar. So then that means I don't need to run a destruction staff skill here. However, on my back bar, if I run something else, then what I do is, for example, here, I'm going to run a resto staff on my back bar just for this build, so that I have offense on my front bar and not so much on my back bar. I know that's kind of counterintuitive. So let's call this the weapon flex spot right here, this L1 button. So I'm going to have a lightning staff on my front bar, but I'm going to slot a resto skill. That way I get the XP on the weapon, the destruction staff from wielding the lightning staff, and then I get the XP on the resto staff by slotting the skill. So on the back bar, if I'm going to wield a resto staff, then I'm going to slot a destruction staff in that same spot. See how that makes sense? And then we're going to put our other flex skills on the same spots on both bars. And that way, when we bar swap, it doesn't matter where we're at. We have the same skills on both bars, and we get XP on all 3 class skill lines, and then whatever weapon skill lines we're running. So take a look. As you can see, I'm leveling 4 different skill lines for weapons right now. So I'm leveling the destruction staff because I'm wielding it in my hand. I have a resto skill slotted. I have a bow skill slotted and a dual wield skill slotted. So you're going to want to do some hierarchy in your head. Okay, 2 of these are going to kind of slack off for a little bit and not get touched. So if you want to level everything across all of them, then maybe you get your dual wield and your bow going for a while, and then you change it up, and then you put these 2 on in its place after a while. But as you're leveling and as you're progressing, keep an eye on your skills. When you advance through the skill line, for example, once this gets to the point where it's leveled, or even maybe if it's morphable, you may want to, maybe you don't use this skill very much in reality, and this one down here you do. Keep track and keep moving things around, keep unslotting, keep using your armory like I've done to pull points back off, and level everything all the way up with your character. Whatever you're doing, if you're going to power level the master writs, or you're going to do random dungeons, or if you're going to go slog Black Rose Prison, if you're going to do that, God bless you, I can't do it. It's just monotonous and boring. Make sure one of your friends has at least an armory that they can pull out and you can reload your points and stuff in between rounds. Hopefully you're fast enough to do that. But that's going to be the end of this series. Thank you very much for everybody who watched it all. Hopefully it was not too boring and that I gave you some awesome ideas on how to do this. Thank you very much. If you're interested in this, check out my YouTube channel, all the created playlists I've made, especially if you're wanting all the video parts to this series. This is part 5 again. So I'm going to put this all in the one beginner barracks playlist, and I will link the playlist in the video description. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you in another video. I'm going to put this topic to bed. Hopefully I've covered everything of interest, and I'll start something else here when I think of it. Thanks a lot. Bye.